Good morning, Mona.
Good
And
morning, Sanjeev.
yeah, and let me introduce myself a little bit. Yeah, and I'm a mindfulness practitioner and author of a book, Practicing the Power of Present Moment. And I educate the people about the mental health, related with depression, anxiety, and how to let go and disconnect with the thought of the past or the future.
So, well, mine is the focus is on the family. And what I mean by the family, Sanjeev, is that it's the caregivers that are supporting loved ones
Yeah.
with mental health and or addiction, because the caregivers are not getting the support. They feel the weight, the pressure, the stress. Something that you can likely help them with too is that when they have all that pressure and weight and don't have the tools, they feel guilt, and then that guilt passes on to their loved one. So it's a vicious circle of what we do. So through our program, it's honest, healthy conversations in order how to approach these situations so that the whole family can have well-being.
Yeah, that's nice, and that's what we can support each other, we can collaborate in that way, like where you can, where we can help with the people or families, like as you explained, like about the guilt or some kind of negative emotions, like a stress or whatsoever, because my practice is totally different. It is based on mindfulness practice, like where I can help them like how to learn about the breathing meditation, where I can help them how to connect with the nature, where I can help them how to pay attention, slow down, and watch out our thought. So like that's what we want to collaborate. Wherever you can feel like I can be helpful and you can be helpful, then we can add more value to the client. So that's what our intention is. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree, because what you were saying earlier too is that it's about not about the past and it's not about the future. It's about the present.
Yeah.
And that's the hardest piece for individuals to do because they're so stressed and worried and fearful. All of that's going on. And it's to calm that inner mind to have a better approach and how to, you know, think things through in a different way and hearing other perspectives and everything else.
Yes, because most of the people are living into thought of anxiety, worry, and therefore the anxiety, depression, and so many mental health issues happen. So where I can help them, like how to live into the present moment awareness, with the help of breathing meditation, by having a deep connection with the nature.
Yeah.
So
right.
then it will help them to settle and calm their mind. So that's what
Yeah.
I.
Yeah. And how I can complement exactly what you're doing, Sanjeev, is that families need to have these conversations and everything else and how to approach it with their loved ones. And that's how I can be helpful for any individuals or that you're working with the mindfulness, that they can have somewhere to have these conversations with other families members living with the same experience, which you learn from each other so much more, and also learn the tools that can complement what you're helping them to do within themselves.
Yes.
And families are, the emotions and the fear and everything that goes in with what they're dealing with, and it can be many different things. Lots of times the different things that come up is suicide into their family talk, and individuals are struggling, and families are at a loss of what to do and how to. So when they can get that help within themselves, and because that's what we focus on, is we turn it back to the caregiver and let them figure out what they need to do for themselves to be at their best.
Yes. Yeah.
So that they can be at their best to help their loved ones, rather than basically an empty tank.
Yeah. Because as you explained, it is a very good idea, because most of the people are emotional burnt out, the stress, anger, fear, anxiety, so many negative emotions, and sometimes they go on for the suicidal, and sometimes they lost their family one, whomsoever they like. So where the mindfulness practice play a very important role, and that's what I do, like most, first of all, I would like to help them like how we have to move inside, how we have to discover our hidden potential with the help of life force energy in the form of breathing meditation. So what happens if something happens like the anger, fear, or stress, or any kind of negative emotions arises. So we have to become I can help them like how to become slow down, pay attention, watch out our thought, in order to create a space or gap between two thoughts, between two words, between two actions. Why? Because most of the people, if something happens, they are connecting with so many useless and unwanted thought in the form of overthinking. So definitely, if something happens, we go with the mind, and mind will take us into the thought of the past or the future, where I can complement them, where I can help them, like how to live into the present moment awareness, by my own practice. Like the first way to create a space or gap between two thoughts, between two words. And there are different kind of intermediate, basic, and advanced level of mindfulness practice we can approach them, and that can bring them happier life, and that can help them to get rid of negative emotion, like the thought of anger, thought of worry, thought of anxiety, thought of depression. And then we can improve the productivity level, because the more we accept this present moment awareness, with the help of breathing meditation, what will happen? They are totally celebrate this beautiful present moment. And then what will then gradually the thought of anger, the thought of negativity in the form of fear or whatsoever, it keep on diminishing, because this is the present moment exists. So that's what I think. So thank you.
Mhm. And it's interesting that you talk about that and helping them with themselves within that emotions, because their thoughts and actions are happen after all the emotions start, like anger. But and how we're working through the individual and the caregiver that is on the call with us, is how to support and approach their loved ones that they're trying to help. And it's all through conversations. What I have learned over these years, including our own family, Sanjeev, is communication has broken down. And so we use a tool called ACE. And that is and not ACE, but love. I'm sorry, it's love. There is another tool, ACE, but love is the one. Listen, understand, and validate. And the one thing that I've learned over all these years, including myself and our own family, is we're not listening to our loved ones and understanding where they're at. We're always into a quick mode of fix the situation. And so it becomes so in a desperate way of handling situations. So learning how to get the self within the self, less guilt on themselves, and just seeing how they can approach these situations. And we teach them this, how to approach their situations. And also the loved one can be part of the process, and they all work together to make a difference in the family, and that they're all on the same page and helping themselves to go forward.
Yes, the open communication is very important, and therefore the self-love, compassion, forgiveness comes, So the more we love ourselves, the more we can love others. But sometimes what happens when somebody loves, or something happen into our life, the anger happen, the fear happen, the negative emotions happen, we try to become more reactive. So where my mindfulness practice says, how to become responsive, not overreactive, not overreacting, right?
Mhm.
And the second thing, the whole purpose of mindfulness practice is to move inside, is to look within, in order to create a fragrance of self-love, compassion, and forgiveness. So the more we create the fragrance of self-love and compassion, what happens, we try to let go and disconnect with the thought of the past or the future very easy, because we are not struggling and fighting with the thought of the past or the future. And then we can celebrate this present moment awareness, and that's what the mindfulness practice does. Yeah.